Oh, you poor lamb, you look so tired.
I'm really sleepy.
How long have you been awake now? Since last Saturday?
Yes, I've been awake more than I've been asleep. Last night was, because yesterday was Friday, and it's the first day I've been awake the entire day.
Okay.
That's always a significant moment. There's those crazy things that happens when you're very jet-lagged, when you think, oh, you know what, especially when you can be no more than 3 meters from your bed. When you just go, oh, just have a little nap, and then you put your head down, and then 4 hours later, it's really... So yes, I was a bit excited going to bed thinking, I might sleep through like a toddler for the first time. And so I went to bed about 10:15, went goof, and then woke up and thought, I did it. And it was 11:30. And then I went back to sleep pretty much immediately, and then did it, and woke up and went, maybe it's light, and it was 12:30. Did that one more time, and it was 3, so I've been awake since 3 o'clock.
This is a podcast in which two friends have serious conversations about silly things and silly conversations about serious things.
I'm Simon Ellis.
And I'm Lee Miller.
Welcome to Midlifing. Yesterday, never quite sure about which day. Yes, it was yesterday. I got a seat, got a place at a online event, which lasted for 3 hours. It was in, I don't know what part of, it was the Eastern Standard Time in the US, and it was a conversation with a woman called Frances Haugen. Is that a name that's familiar to you?
It's not ringing any bells to me.
Frances Haugen is the Facebook whistleblower.
Oh, then yes, of course, it makes perfect sense. I know what she looks like. She's got sort of shoulder-length blonde hair, centre-parted, very well dressed.
You got it. And impossibly articulate.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so that she was in a conversation with Shoshana Zuboff, who's written about surveillance capitalism, and Tristan Harris, who is the dude that is mostly responsible for that Netflix documentary about, I don't remember what it was called, about social media, the social dilemma, something like that. Social dilemma.
Terrifying.
Yes, and it was so fascinating listening to Frances Haugen talk with not only incredibly articulate, but because she just knows the insides of that organization. She was just so erudite and so well informed, and just talking about this extraordinary capacity of those platforms to polarize. And in both the right and the left in the US have really been trying to sort of the right's been accusing her of being a liberal, and the left have been kind of trying to grab onto her, and it's very odd to hear someone say, this is not a political thing, this is a bipartisan thing, this is about, talking about democracy.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a very dispiriting way to potentially spend 3 hours, but I suspect hugely illuminating.
It was, actually. It was 2 sets. The first set with these people, and there was another person who's, I can't remember. In fact, I'm not sure. I might have missed 2 people, and then I'm not functioning on full cylinders. And then a group of lawyers in the second set, and I couldn't quite handle the lawyers because they were just dropping into language that is just not familiar to me, really.
Yeah. My memory of Facebook is that it was predicated upon thumbs up or not. So it is kind of, that is pretty binary, isn't it? It's like thumbs up, not thumbs up. There's not much nuance there.
They tried to add other things because, someone would announced the death of someone and what
You'd like
and,
it,
you know,
yeah. Yeah.
what would you like? You know,
I super like that your dad died.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
the language of it is awkward.
But I think it was the news feed. My understanding was it's around 2012 when the news feed was introduced, and then also the massive uptake of mobile-based post. When was the iPhone was 2007, so it was in that period of time when that's when people started using mobile technology for everything.
So when did you leave Facebook?
Oh, I just have no idea. I mean, I could look it up. 2015.
Oh, right, okay. Oh.
I left it well before then and then had to join again because of work. And then, as it does, it creeps in.
Yeah.
I really can't remember. I can't remember, Lee.
I know that I joined it when it was in its infancy. Obviously not its total infancy because I wasn't at Harvard. Its relative global infancy. And I remember reading something that a distant relative of mine wrote that was, let me say, explicitly racist. I don't think there's any way to frame it. I can remember it word for word. And it's the kind of thing that I think I would need to be under pain of torture to allow the words to pass my lips. So it was a level of rhetoric that I struggled with. Let's put it that way. And it was in that moment that I just went, oh, I can't do this. I can't be on here because I have two choices. I either unfriend everybody whose ideas I struggle with. And I realised that at some level, that would effectively be everybody that I knew. Or I just had to remove myself from the narrative. And so I did the second because I just thought, and this is the thing about it being polarising, everybody says something at some point that sits poorly with us.
It's just humans, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying that we should unproblematically forgive and accept horrifying racist rhetoric. But
record everything and put it all online.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing. It's like I know that there are things that I have thought fleetingly that I would never want anybody to have any access to. But it seems that we have a culture of every fleeting thought being published. And so that was when I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. But I think that, the news feed became quite a thing because of course, the way in which those particular algorithms work mean that the things that capture attention or quite literally capture attention and hold attention are things that are mostly negative, highly inflammatory, and then those get forwarded. One of the things that Frances Haugen said was that you could basically introduce a system whereby as soon as something had been automatically shared, meaning there's just a button where people go share, which means that something that they've read gets posted to whoever that they're friends with. If Facebook implemented a system where after two of those sharings, automatic sharings, you introduce some friction, and that friction was that someone had to copy and paste the thing, that would utterly transform the nature of that polarizing, just that tiny bit of friction in that system. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. So just to remove the thoughtless is better than mindless, isn't it?
And I find that kind of many of the things that are going badly wrong in relation to Facebook are in countries where they just don't have the reach to deal with these. I can't remember a particular country where there are like 7 or 8 languages in a single country, and so it's really, really, really messy. I mean, Facebook they've clearly got themselves into something that's they've just bitten off something they can. What's the saying?
It's bitten off more than they can chew. But the thing is, it's not about having bitten off more than they can chew, because you just gave us an example of how they could chunk down the problem. It's that they're unprepared to, because Mark Zuckerberg believes that he's right.
He's bringing the world together. Oh.
The whole news thing passed me by. I was gone before the news feed arrived, so I never experienced people's thoughtless clicking. So it was their thoughts that bothered me.
It was their thoughtful sharing that was all me.
Yeah, exactly. It was the things that they deliberately wanted to tell me that I couldn't quite cope with.
I do remember you doing culling every now and again. You do culls of friends.
Yeah.
You'd say, I've got a limit. My limit is this
Yeah.
many, and I'm going to get it back down to that number.
Yeah.
You were
And-
very popular. I remember you being very popular on Facebook.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Influencer.
I don't. There are about 12 people who follow me on Instagram, so that's clearly not true. And that's possibly because all I ever do is post pictures of the dog.
Yeah.
Walks
Yeah.
that I've been on, and occasionally, very occasionally, when Bob stands still long enough, a picture of my wife.
Yes. Probably from the back,
Actually, I put a picture of her face on yesterday. That's my picture of her for the year. Speaking of year, we are recording on the what is it? I don't even know what day it is. That's,
Saturday,
yeah, I know. I was thinking the date
the
specifically.
9th of October.
Do you know what this is?
Well, for me, it's nearly the halfway point of quarantine.
So it's also the day before our 1-year anniversary.
Is it really?
We recorded our pilot episode on the 10th of October, 2020.
I would have worn a hat and gone.
If only you'd known. Yeah, so our pilot episode, which we haven't shared, I think I might have dropped a little bit of it into an episode once, but the pilot episode was recorded 1 year ago tomorrow. And then on the 18th of October, we recorded our very first published podcast.
It's funny. I think that those deep vaults, of course, the midlifing vaults. I can just imagine after we're both dead that our estates will seek to publish these, like Prince or David Bowie. There'll be the post. I was going to say the postnatal, but that's not quite right, is it?
We are postnatal. It's the post-mortem.
Yes. No. What do they call them? After death releases. What are they called? There's a word.
Posthumous.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's like having a podcast with a dictionary.
It's more to do with the fact that you've got like about 12 functioning words left to you because you're not very wakey.
Brain cells.
I wasn't going to say that. I would not be so cruel.
I've had a strange bit of. Is there something we wanted to talk about?
Well, there is, only in the sense that you've sent me two photographs, and you went, "This is important." I'm curious.
So the first photograph is can you describe the first photograph?
It's a blue wrist. I'm doing this from memory, but my memory is It's a blue wristband that's been cut or torn off, and it seems to have 2019 written on it.
Which is a coincidence because it happens to be my room number.
Ah.
It hasn't been torn off. It's just that I put it on and then couldn't get it off. So I had to sort of squeeze my hand out of it. That blue wristband is strangely like gold in MIQ because it's the point, when you get one of those, it's the point at which you're allowed to go outside of your room to go for 20 minutes or 30 minutes of walking.
Oh, nice. So where have you walked?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. So this was not until Thursday. And because I arrived after, as avid listeners will know, or even unavid listeners will know,
I think we say faithful or unfaithful, Simon. Come on, get with the
Thank
lingo.
you. I was pretty run down, and then so arrived and effectively got a sore throat, wasn't sleeping, jet lagged, in this strange situation. And because you get tested immediately first day, in fact, I've been tested 3 times in the last week, and 3 negative swabs. But because I had effectively COVID symptoms, they treated me as if I had COVID. And so I wasn't able to get the blue wristband until Thursday. So I spent from Saturday night until Thursday 5:30 in this room. I opened the door to pick up meals. They get dropped off and knock, and they drop it off at the door, and then they sort of scoot away and you go out, put your mask on and go out and pick it up from the floor. And then the other time was I had to hold the door open while they did a test on me while standing in the doorway. It's so surreal. It's so surreal, Lee Miller.
So I guess it's not getting less surreal because you've still not been out in the world except for this walk. Come on.
Yes, so the walk happens in a... I can't even begin to describe it. So basically the entire complex, so the entire hotel is surrounded by event fencing, which is then covered in black. So it's isolated visually and physically from the rest of the world.
Okay, so effectively you're like Beyonce backstage.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. If Beyonce had a whole lot of military people in masks,
who do you think she employs to keep her safe?
Well, I don't think the U.S. government supply.
She's a national treasure. Come on,
She is, and there is in what's kind of like the driveway of the hotel. It's like a Y-shaped area of road that they've put some fencing down the middle, so you kind of do a circuit of this Y-shaped. Let's call it a racing track. And so everyone's strolling around with their masks on, and you're not allowed to run. I found that out yesterday.
Did you get shouted at?
Not shouted. Oh, tell me, just to be clear, they're amazing. The people here, what a job.
Yeah.
What a job. Dealing with people, highly stressed people, mostly, incredibly, and they're so warm and so kind and so patient. Like, I've been absolutely gobsmacked by the kind of generosity of their presence, and yet they're also being really specific about what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
But yeah, this racing track, I reckon if I was speed walking it, would be 3 minutes.
Oh my God!
But I've been doing walking meditations and / dancing. So I found out that you can skip and they don't stop you. And they don't stop you if you skip backwards as well, which I've been taking great pleasure in doing. And also sort of tacking up and down the racecourse. It's like a racecourse for lepers, actually, because these people who can't touch go near anyone. I mean, it's so strange.
Wow.
It's so strange. It's amazing. So the highlight of my day today was coming back off the racecourse, and the guy, big guy, manning the desk, said, "Oh, are you a dancer?" Oh no, that's an Australian accent. I can't even do it. Are you a dancer? I can't do this New Zealand accent, and I'm surrounded by us.
And you are
you
it. That's lovely.
I am. Yeah. You're a dancer. You're a dancer. Oh, anyway, that'll do. And I said, "What?" He goes, "I've been watching a lot of people go around that place for a long time, and I've never seen anyone go around it like you." I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
And what's the maximum amount of time you're allowed to be out during the course of a day?
I actually haven't asked that. It's bizarre. It hasn't even come to mind. I've just assumed that the maximum is that one time, but I haven't even asked.
Do you know something? As you're talking about this, it suddenly occurs to me that the New Zealand government have totally missed a trick. They shouldn't have gotten the.
They didn't get enough ICU units and trained ICU people.
No, that's not what I was thinking at all. I was thinking they shouldn't have given this strategic planning over to the military. They should have just got in touch with the people who run Vipassana meditation retreats, because you are effectively describing a Vipassana meditation retreat.
I have done so much meditation since this time last Saturday, just sitting and walking.
Have you burnt off your samskara yet? Is it now just like a stick moving through the water?
No, but in a moment of tremendous, I'm going to say irony, but it's more like coincidence. I was speaking to my mother today, and because she's talking about my cold, and she goes, "Have you done that thing that the yogis do yet?" So my mother, a nurse, was recommending a neti pot, doing a bit of netting.
See,
Yeah.
I thought you said that you were talking about your colon. And I was thinking, you don't use a neti pot for your colon. That would be Nauli Kriya.
Well, it's a different kind of neti pot, isn't
No,
it, really?
if you're struggling with shit, you do something called Nauli Kriya. I can teach you.
Can you teach me over a phone call? I mean, over a FaceTime call?
Yeah, I could actually.
Is it going to be listenable for?
No, because you'll
just-
spend a lot of time going, huh? Your belly's much saggier than my belly, Lee. Why is that? And I'll go, because you've got beautiful abdominal wall, and I have a layer of fat and fur between me and my abdominal muscles.
Like a bear.
Like
a bear.
If you take my clothes off, I look a lot like a bear.
Lear B. Miller. I mean, Lee. Lear B. Miller. Oh, dear.
That's my name. Yeah. One
please
day
cut that
I will.
out.
No, that's going to start the show. One day I'll teach you how to do Nauli Kriya, because I know this I might cut out because you might not want me to share with the listeners that I know shitting's been a problem for you.
I did actually, just as before we started recording, I did think to myself, I wonder if we're going to talk about constipation in this episode.
So how?
Don't worry, all my PhD students know about it. You know that thing about practice research? Fuck that. Let's talk about shit.
What?
Oh no, come on.
I'll go back.
Oh, sorry, go on.
What do you? What? Sorry, I'm just laughing at. What do you call a No, I'm so shit at jokes. But there's a constipated mathematician joke, isn't there? What
He
did
works it out with a pencil.
No, there we go. Yeah. Did you hear about the constipated dancer?
No.
He couldn't pass a double.
We are so immature, Lee Miller. I'm a little bit concerned about this episode at the moment because because bloody earworm Corbetron has put the whole jumping the shark thing in my mind, and I'm
You're worried that this is the episode that we jumped the shark, where we've talked about you being locked inside and having a little cold and struggling to shit. I don't think that this is something people will be uninterested in. I have every faith that our faithful and unfaithful listeners will be concerned about the state of your colon. They'll be worried about, is it all those pancakes he's been eating? Has he overdosed on maple syrup?
and waffles.
Oh my God, no wonder you're bunged up. It actually, to reflect upon Corbetron's concern about jumping the shark, maybe I should sort of shift the tone a little bit and sing you to sleep. Give you a little lullaby so that you're just able to drift off.
You wouldn't get past the first verse, I reckon.
Are you that tired?
I'm so exhausted.
Is there anything you particularly want from my repertoire?
And what about something from Psychedelic Furs?
They're not really
Lullaby types?
lullaby, you know. Caroline laughs and it's raining all day. And you also have to sound like Voldemort if you want to sing anything like it. Don't you think that's what he sounds like? Caroline laughed and she's raining all day. And the boy who lived has come to die.
Is that actually lyrics from a Psychedelic Furs song?
The first bit is, and the second bit is what Voldemort says to Harry Potter in their final battle.
Your transition was perfect. I thought it was a Psychedelic Furs song.
It's
Well, I hope...
fast asleep. There we go. Simon's gone, everybody. He's fast asleep because of my beautiful tones.
I better go have some fruit.
You should, because I'm worried about your colon. Don't netty it.